Hey everyone, I'm Jen with the Healing Collective. I am here to talk about a group that I co-facilitate with Stacy called Loving Parent, and that is our reparenting group. So what I mean by reparenting is essentially giving myself what I needed and never got in my childhood. Oftentimes, growing up, our parents are doing the best they can. They're giving us what they have, and sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes that still translates as I had emotional needs that didn't get met, even if my parents were doing the best they could. Sometimes that means that, maybe you had a parent who was struggling with an addiction or a mental illness. And again, there were things that you needed as a child that you never got. And these cause core wounds that develop into trauma over time. When these wounds are not repaired, they develop into what we now know as CPTSD, complex PTSD. Um, in the Loving Parent group, our goal is to start to explore some of these core wounds through connecting with the inner parts of ourselves that develop also throughout this process. So parts such as inner child, inner teen, that inner critical parent who can be really mean and just nasty sometimes, and the inner loving parent. So we really actually in this group call a lot on that inner loving parent to do the reparenting, to do some of the repair with the other three parts. So what I've learned in my own recovery is my inner child is the part of myself that kind of is frozen in time at certain younger ages, and she's the one who really feels the core wound. She's the one who is triggered when someone oversteps a boundary or when I feel like I'm not being heard, whether that's my perception or the reality. She's the one who acts up when that happens. Um, my inner teen will show up when my inner child is triggered and she's trying to be, big sister and protect her. And so she gets angry and she starts to self-sabotage and push people away. And that inner critical voice I just spoke about a little bit, where she comes in and my inner critical parent's name is Gertie. I don't know if you know me well, then I probably shared that story. That's just the name that pops up for me. She gets really like, that's where the perfectionism and the people pleasing and just very critical comes in. And so part of the group is learning, okay, well, who's driving the bus right now? Who's triggered? Who needs something? And as a loving parent, allowing that part to come in and do some repair and reparenting with these other pieces of myself. This is not something that we're taught how to do. So in Loving Parent group, we learn not just how to connect with these pieces or these parts of ourselves, but also how to allow that loving parent part of myself to offer some healing, some validation, some nurturance, some guidance, some support, some encouragement to these other pieces of myself so that I can continue on my healing journey and get to the root of my trauma. So if this is something that is interesting to you, if it strikes a chord, you have questions, feel free to reach out, and I'd love to talk to you more about it. And you'd love even more to see you in group. So feel free to reach out. Thanks.